problem. I said, wait. I'm getting confused here. Why would you buy a new one? It only had 8,000 miles on the other Lincoln. Well, you know it costs to repair those cars. Now, that's the market you're dealing with. They ain't atypical. They're right in the program. See, and it's beautiful. My dad don't want to hear. He wears a hearing aid. He's 3/4 deaf in one ear, almost he's almost fully deaf in the other ear, and he wears a big old hearing aid pouch. He's had it since he was like 28 years old. So they both get on the phone at the same time, obviously. If you have parents, they always get on the same phone. They're all screaming at one. Oh, Joe, get married. Oh, and they're back and forth. You're going, geez, I got a headache. And you're going through the deal. Then they imagine they come and say, you know, Donald, when your father passes away, I need your help. Well, wait a minute. You're 77, he's 79. Neither one of you go to a hospital. You've never been in one except for looking at your eye one time. And now because of your eye, you think you got gout. I mean, she got every disease in the world. She listens to Phil and everybody, but she's never been to hospitals. But she's got them all. She says, you don't know what I got. You don't know the pain I'm going through. I mean, if this is the conversation on Sunday, and this is an up day. This is upbeat. This is big time. I'm going through, well, let's get down to the crux here. And she says, well, you know, the real problem is that you just don't understand what seniors have to go through. I says, I'm hoping I get that chance, Mom. She says, well, do me one favor then. We end the conversation. If your dad passes away, I don't know how I'm going to live because I don't know what annuities are. I says, pardon? She said, I don't know what that is. I said, well, that's a good program, Mom. That's what you've been living on, the interest income off of this money. You've never touched your bucket of money. You're just living off the interest on the money. That's confusing, but I know we don't have any money. I said, but you haven't touched any of the money yet, Mom. Don't understand that concept. You're going to have to help me out if he dies. My dad's on the other phone and said, don't worry about it, Marianne. I got to worry about it, George. I mean, they're right through the deal. So we're going on, and now you got to understand. They got 2 acres of land, their house is paid cash, the car's paid cash, and they have no bills, and the only bill they have was a $29 health bill. And they've been retired for 13 years. But if you'd go meet them, they wear stripes and plaids. My dad's got my wife always says, you're getting close to him. I see tendencies all the time when you're dressing when you're home. All insurance guys dress that way or what? He's got the wild stripes, wild plaids, hats turned sideways, and he's ready. He's ready. She says, my goodness, and when you go to see my mom and dad, she wears the same dress we buy her each year for Christmas. It's the only dress she wears. You don't know, I don't have any clothes. We don't have anything. She's got furs in the closet, but you don't wear nothing. Got them in mothballs. So as you look at this is the market you're dealing with. So when you're going out there hearing this, I'm overinsured, I don't have any money, I work on a fixed income, I'm dying. Let me give you a statistic. According to the Government Bureau of Statistics, seniors control 50-plus people. People who are 50-plus years of age or older control 77% of all the financial assets in America. 77% of all the financial assets in America. They now control $1 trillion worth of money. You tell me we can't find a policy for 35 bucks. Even in the air trailer situation, we can find the $35. So what I'm saying to you is, see, what you're doing is, we're listening to how poor everybody is. But I'm telling you, Las Vegas is full. Atlantic City is full. They're building bigger hotels in Vegas. The Venetian is going to be 4 times the size of most hotels in Las Vegas, and they're already booked for 2 years. And they're all seniors, basically, that are out there looking to get rid of that discretionary income because they can't find an agent. So let's try to get perspective back on the subject area here. Yeah, there's a few people out there don't have any money, but $35, $40, $55, they've got money. Now, are they going to give it to you just because you show up and you look pretty? Because you got to the door? No, they're going to make you earn the right to get in before they give you the secrets of what they worked all their lifetime for, because they don't trust anybody. They hide that money in mattresses, cookie jars, coffee cans. They came through the Depression. If you talk to any of those people, it's funny when they say, I'll be right back. I had boards in Tennessee be moved to the floor, and they pull up the money, cash. You're looking around over here, what's going on? That's just don't trust banks. They don't trust a lot of different things. So when we're out there working, what I'm saying to you is what the problem we've got is we've got to get across that 4-inch threshold and earn their trust before they'll come in and give us real information and tell us about real problems, real needs. But they do have the money. The senior market as a market of 63 million people do have money. But they got to get your trust first. You've got to earn that right. Now, another way. People go back and they say, take this line. What did you have in mind when you sent this card in? That's one of the best neutralizing sentences you can use when you're putting the burden back on the consumer to think about saying something. Because usually they don't know what to say when you ask them that question. Well, I don't know what I had in mind. Glad I came, Mr. Jones. Do you have a minute? Well, I thought you were going to mail it to me. Mr. Jones, that's great. You get us mixed up with a lot of companies, but we're an old-fashioned company. We believe that the old-fashioned companies of yesteryear would come to your door, show you what they look like, make sure you weren't afraid of who they were, and let you in based upon how we looked and how you trusted us. And it's hard to trust somebody over the telephone. Do you have a minute? Boom. You take right back and you go right back and think of the logic to what I've got to do to talk to you about this. This is a communication relationship we're causing. This is not a sales relationship. I've got to communicate with you to let you know I'm okay, because remember, men, we got a tough time working the senior market. We're on the front page of every newspaper at least once a day, killing somebody, blowing somebody up. You know, going. Once in a while there's a gal up in the electric chair, but not very often. Texas had one back a few months ago. Outside of that, we're the ones on the front page, us guys. So we've got to even be prepared more than a gal going to the door. Why? Because we're saying beware. Because again, remember, the seniors aren't as fast as they used to be. They could outrun us. Now it takes them a little while to get going. So they can't run as fast as they could run before. So we got to be cautious in there. Now, one of the best types of lines to use an objection, I'm overinsured. You know when you say that to me, what I say to you? Well, I'm overinsured. I'm insurance poor. So, Mr. Jones, it sounds like you're paying too much for your insurance. What are they going to say? No. They say no. So, can I ask you, did you have to drop benefits? No. You must have given something up if you had to reduce that. Mr. Jones, you probably didn't have to do that. So they're not going to tell you no. 99.9% of the time we say you're paying too much for your insurance, you bet I am. I'm glad I found somebody smart working with me. So all you ask them is, I'm overinsured. You know, Chris, every time I talk to one of my people about that, first thing I want to tell them, I'm glad I came, because it sure sounds like you're paying too much for that insurance, Chris. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, what do I say? It's okay, go ahead. Any way you want to go ahead. Well, yeah, I am. Okay, good. May I come in? No. Well, good. I only work by appointment only. Tuesday better than Wednesday. You have got to be ready and set to go. You've got to know what the program is. If they're calling an audible, be ready for the blitz. Just get set for the audible. Old type, new type is a great line that's been around forever. Forever. The other one says, you walk up and say, well, I just bought a MedSup policy. Just bought one from this company. You go, congratulations. Can I congratulate? That is excellent that you bought it. May I ask you just a simple question before I leave? Sure, because you just congratulate him and said, that's great. Did you buy the partial or complete plan? That's a 50-50, isn't it? Go ahead. Take a shot. I bought the partial. Why'd you buy it? I don't know. I bought the complete. Why'd you buy it? I don't know. Come on in. I'm getting beat up here. Hurry up. Come on in. I can't handle this test. So you went through 10 questions in a hard time. They get 3. You're overloading them. They don't answer these quizzes very well. See, they don't know. You see, and I got to tell you, it's a great thing to do that, because it's a tremendous thing to look at that idea. Did you buy the basic or comprehensive? Now, you can imagine with the husband and wife standing there, Myrtle's looking at Harry going, you don't know if you bought the partial or complete, Harry? He's not talking about your plate. Now, she's getting a little bit mad, see, because Harry was controlling all this the whole time for him. Now, see, I'll give you a true story. We're in a program in Baltimore, Maryland. And I got to tell you, it's the only true good story I got, and it's embarrassing, but it's okay, it's good. I go out and do a training session like this, right? We get done, I got a guy in the front row, he's really energetic, and he says, hey, Don, hey, Guru, I bought your tapes, I bought the second edition, I listened to them, I got the phrases memorized. He says, man, you've changed my life, and I'm going spiritual here on me for a minute here, I'm getting okay. He says, I want you to come with me on a sales call. I said, look, I don't do that no more, retired, I can't sell, I'm done. He says, no, please, I'll take you to the airport, I'll drop you off, please. He says, I got 2 calls, I got one of these recycle leads, and I got one of these other ones. I said, no, it's okay, I don't have time. Please. Well, the guy wore me down. Bought another set of tapes. I said, okay, I'm easy. So the guy comes back out of here, so we drive. True story. We drive in Baltimore, Maryland. We come up to this driveway. It must be about 60 foot long, and we're guys in the back. You see him working his car. So we go up there, we get out. I got the Lead Guru shirt on, right? My little advertising. We walk up to the driveway. He says, hi, Mr. So-and-so, how you doing? Guy kind of looks up. He says, yeah, how can I help you boys? He says, well, what'd you have in mind when you sent this card in? He said, I don't know about any card. He said, I didn't send any card in anywhere. Well, who are you guys with anyway again? He tells me the insurance company's name. Look, if this is insurance, I'm loaded. You're wasting your time. I got plenty of insurance. Sorry for the trip. And a young guy is with me, looks back at me and says, well, let me ask you a question. What kind of insurance did you buy? I bought all kinds. Real specific, right? I bought all kinds. He said, well, you did. You bought all kinds. Well, let me ask you a question. Did you really buy the old type or the new type? Oh, I love it. This is beautiful. I love this. This kid's good. I love this kid. Now, you got to understand, this guy's working in the car. Kid says that. A couple seconds pass. He looks down. Guy comes up and says, looks at us, both of us, and says, I bought both. Not good. Not a good situation for the guru. Guru was in serious trouble. I got lockjaw real quick. Said, Lord, I told you I wasn't coming here. I apologize. If you get me out of here, I'll never do this again. I stood in that driveway. I had a puddle so deep you couldn't get out with boots. I mean, I was perspiring. I was sweating. I couldn't talk. Believe it or not, I could not talk. I stood there, and I saw this guy's face beaming at my head going, guru, guru. Still going, don't look at me, buddy. You got the tapes. Don't look at me. You got the tape. I'm sitting there totally frozen. Couldn't say a word. Man, it seemed like eternity standing there if you ever had this happen. Great master field trainer, right? Just worn out. Letters are melting on the shirt already. I'm standing like this, and I cannot move. I am frozen. I have never been like that and never want to be again. And the young man turns back to the guy at the car, and it seemed like hours, right? It was seconds. He says, let me ask you a question. Why'd you buy both? Guy looks up, drops her, and says, I'll give you 10 minutes. They walk in the house, sells him a $100,000 life insurance policy, annual premium. The guy owns no insurance other than auto and homeowners. Zero. Guru's still in the driveway. I am still in the driveway. They remembered me about 15 minutes later. I'm out there like this. I can't believe this. Both? Where would you get that from? So I'm standing out here, and they come and get me. I sit down. I'm not doing any helping. He closes the sale. Thanks the guy. I come back out. I'm saying, we ain't making a second call. I'm going to the airport because I am out of a new career of going back to be a school teacher because I'm out of here. And I'm thinking to myself, where could I have ever gotten hurled? And so anyway, and I didn't, and this is not very funny, but we're riding in the car, and I know he wants to talk to me because this kid's all excited, and he's going to say, he said, Don, I got to ask you a question. I'm going, oh, I can't talk, man. I can't. I got to lie, man. I got to lie. So he tells to the guy, and the guy says to me, he says, Don, I needed some help. You know, Guru, I was looking for a little help. The guy says, both. He says, I don't know where to go with that. That's not in your tapes. I go, it is now, but it is now. But we go back to the deal. And I said to him, I got to lie. And I said, look, I got a little philosophy. That's why I quit doing field work. I'm going to lie now. I got to lie good. So he says, well, tell me about it. And I said, well, anytime somebody's in control, I never interrupt. Now, I let that go, went to the airport, and got off. True story. Still talk to the guy today about every 6-7 months. Very successful. Got a bunch of agents. Having a great time. Leaves a message and says, I got both. Call me back. I know who it is. I know. You don't even have to tell me. So I get goosebumps every time I go through that. Now, the moral of the story I'm trying to get around for is this. The one thing I tried to teach him, which I forgot, which is very easy to do, was anytime you get in trouble and anytime you're lost for words, all you have to do is ask a question, and the most powerful question you can ask anyone is, why? And say no more. That just knocked him right off his socks, because most people only got one objection, maybe two. When this guy got the powerful word why, which means I got to think, I'm in deep trouble. Let's just get this over with. Now, that's a great story, true story, great moral to the story. Send me information. What you have up here is another answer you can do. We already gave you this one, but you could also say, Bob, what would you like me to send you? It sounds like you already have a plan. Did you see how I changed that? So, Bob, what information did you want? Then I say to him, it sounds like you already have a plan. He didn't tell me he had a plan. I told you you had a plan. So now when you say, yeah, I do have a plan, then it sounds like if you already got one, then let's meet so we can look it over and make a fair comparison. So you can change it up and do some things with that question. No money. Sounds like you're paying too much for the insurance you have. That one we've used before. I love to use that one. The other guy says, I'm paying too much for my insurance. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Jones. If you could increase the amount of coverage you had and lower your cost, would you have a problem at least looking at that? Or maintain the same amount of coverage you got and pay less? If I can't do that, I'll be on my way. How's that as a fair proposition? You can change it around. Already have insurance. Good. When did you buy it? What company did you buy it from? Most of the time, they don't know what company they bought it from. They kind of make up names. I said, well, I think a chip of the rock or a piece of the stone or something like that. Now, is it a partial complete plan? I had no idea. I didn't say A, B, C, D, E, F, J. Just asked you the partial or complete. I think I bought plan A. Why'd you buy that? I don't know. Did you want to buy the partial or the complete? Well, I'm not sure either. Good. You got a minute? It's an easy conversation. Now, we covered most of those here just a little while ago. What I'm trying to say to you is you look through these questions and you build your questions and you get through these things. Don't panic. Don't panic. Just have, and here what I challenge you to do is this. Try to develop 1 or 2 control questions for every objection you think is going to come up. So no matter what objection they ask you, you're ready. And the minute you can be fluid, not hesitate, and come back with it, all of a sudden you're giving them confidence. It's kind of like if you went to a surgeon. He said, well, Surgeon Jack, what do you think about my heart condition? Well, you know, Jack, I tell you, there's an aorta in there. There's a couple of valves. You could have a problem. We might have to operate. But I'm not sure we'd have to operate. But I'll tell you one thing. We should probably change diet. But I'm telling you what, but I'm feeling this big pain. Well, I think maybe I'm not sure we should operate. Well, you be in there real quick, you're leaving that doctor. Next guy walks in and says, tell you what, we're going to replace that valve. We're going to take this out. We're going to do that. You'll be in the hospital about 3 days, and I'll change your diet, and you'll be okay. Now, you see me at 8 o'clock on Friday morning for the surgery. Now, you may not like it. You know you have to have the surgery, but you feel pretty good letting that particular person operate on you because they were in control of what they were going to say. They made you feel comfortable enough to say, okay, I want to take somebody that's got a pretty good idea. Rather than, I'll give you a live example. My son had a pretty serious leg operation, or leg injury. The doctor that was about to operate him 2 days before he came into town died. Had a heart attack at age 41, right here in Plano. The guy, so we didn't know what to do. So we went to another doctor. We get in. It's a true story. We're in the office. My son's sitting, and the guy looks at the x-rays and says, well, I'll tell you what. I'm not sure what we're going to do here. He says, I'll tell you what, we could probably operate, but if we don't operate, we could probably get by for a couple of years. You have a lot of pain, but when the pain gets too bad, then we could probably do something. But in the meanwhile, we can make up this shoe that you could probably use for a while. It'll still feel like you got a nail in your foot, but don't worry about it. And he went on for about 5 minutes. So my wife says to the guy, it's beautiful, let me ask you a question, doctor. How many of these operations have you done? None. She said, we'll see you later. And we left. Had no idea. Found a little short guy about this big named Dr. Brodsky over here in Dallas. Went into the guy's, I'm sure his guy's got to be this big and 20 pounds. Little beard on him. Get in there, he's got an entourage, about 4 guys, about 6'6", from all over the world. We walk in, step in his office, he looks at the foot, he looks at that and says, looked at the x-ray, says, what do you think, Dr. So-and-so? I do this. What do you think? I do this. He said, what do you think? I do this. What do you think? I do this. What do you think? I'll do this. He says, here's what we're going to do. We'll do it next week, Tuesday. We'll see you then. That was it. My son's back playing soccer today when they said that was an ending injury. He'd never run properly again. Now, that guy, in fact, my son says, I don't like his bedside manner. I said, I don't care if you like his bedside manner. We're not paying for a bedside manner. We're paying to have you walk again. See, there's a whole difference in here. So when you're going through this whole thing, confidence comes from the person that really says to you, I'll give you that confidence. Give me a chance. But you got to know what you're going to say when you're going to say it to them. So these control questions we talked about, these are 3 or 4 really powerful questions. And when you ask people those questions, let them speak. And anytime you do that, the minute they say something back to you like, well, what's it going to cost? Well, you know, that's a great question, Ron. Do you have a minute? Yes. Good. May I come in? No. No. Good. You work by appointment like Tuesday, better Wednesday? Tuesday. Tuesday. Great. See you then. Well, you're going to answer my question when I get back Tuesday with the proper information. I can then answer your question properly. Tuesday, better Wednesday when I get back together. Bam. See what I'm saying? So you go back, so you don't have to answer their question. When they ask you a question back, that means you're supposed to come in and answer it. Don't go on. If they're asking too many questions, give yourself one of these. Excuse me, Ron. I'll be right back. Go to the phone booth and change. Come back in and say, I'm back in control now. Let me ask the questions. If they start asking you the questions they've taken control over, they now have control of you. They're now going to take you for a walk. The dog is going to be what? You're going to be going for a walk. Because they're asking you the questions, you have lost control. You need to be positioned to ask the questions. You're the expert. The person that asks the better questions is the expert, not the person answering the questions. Remember that. That's a true saying. Okay. Any other kind of questions or objections you want to bring up that we can talk about from control? Yes, sir.
That information's personal.
That's your objection? Mm-hmm. Now, how will you go? Get me to the point where we got to that, because I don't know that I get
From the telephone conversation.
Okay. Mr. Jones, what did you have in mind when you sent the card in?
Well, you didn't send in a card. That's what I'm saying.
You did?
No.
Okay, give me what he did so I can set that up.
When you're calling up off the birthday list.
Birthday list, turning 65?
Right.
What are you asking me? So give me the scenario.
He says, I want to come over and talk to you about your changes in Medicare and go over some of the things that you've got going on now and how we can help you with that information. Well, that information's personal, you know. When you start to qualify them a little bit, ask them what they have right now.
Okay.
You know,
a couple things, comments, they're good for you. First of all, you're asking me personally, so I'll give you my personal opinion. Personal opinion is I wouldn't ask it in such a way to ask him for any information or qualifying questions. My job on the phone, the minute I start doing that, now I get into that kind of dialogue, I now draw a line in the sand and say, we're going to have, I got an offense and defense here right now. Right now I don't want any offense and defense. I just want to get a chance to play the game. So if I ask you too many questions, you're going to start probing with me and you're going to get too personal. You're going to start resisting. Now we're almost got an argument going like, well, what information do you want from me? It's pretty personal. See, you're going to get into that. So I'm just staying away from trying to get into any of that and just asking you questions like, Mr. Jones, what did you have in mind when you sent the card? If you didn't have a card, I'd say, Mr. Jones, I'm contacting concerned seniors in the area who are turning 65. Would you be in that position where you're going to be turning 65 pretty soon? Yes, I am. Great. I just want to get together with you because the government does relate and say that this whole issue of Medicare is confusing, what it pays and doesn't pay for. I'd like to come on by and go over that with you and see if I can be of any help to you. Didn't say I'm going to go over and require any information on you. I don't do information until I do a fact find. And when I fact find, it's part of the sales process, that's when I'm in the home. See, sometimes we're mixing fact finds up, the sales process with the prospecting process. Don't try to be fact finding because even if they're uninsurable, they're a great prospect. See, because an uninsurable person is going to send you to somebody that is insurable if you get in there. Their kids, their neighbors, because they know they should have had that plan and can't get it. So that's what you don't want to do is throw anybody away as a bad prospect. Because here's the point. Charlotte tells me I'm a bad lead and she's never gotten in my home or place of business to talk to me. How can I be bad? She's never had a chance to sit down eyeball to eyeball and talk with me. So we can't make those value judgments at that point. John?
Talked to a man on the phone.
Here, let me give you this.
I talked to a man on the phone, wanted to come over and visit with him. He said, I want to make up my mind myself. I said, well, what are you going to base that on? He said, well, I just want to make up my mind myself. I said, well, I could come over and give you some information to base that decision on if you'd like me to. And he said, no, I want to make up my mind myself. And I said, well, do you have someone else who is maybe a decision maker for you or something like that? I don't want to be coming in and trying to twist your arm or anything. He said, well, I live with my son. I said, well, I'll be glad to sit down with you and your son. And he said, no, I want to make up my mind myself. I said, well, tell me, what are you going to base your decision on? And that was really kind of where it ended.
Okay.
And I didn't really know
what kind of lead was it? What kind of lead was it?
It was a mail-in lead. And I was lost out in the country, and I was trying to call him. I called him to try and find out where he was, to locate his place, which
okay,
I understand.
Now, first of all, if you have a mail-in lead, I would not get into much conversation ever in a mail-in lead, because a mail-in lead says, you mail it, I'm coming. So that's an invitation. That's an invitation to the dance. I'm coming. Don't call me and verify nothing. I'm coming. I'm going to show up at your house and say, Mr. Jones, what did you have in mind when you sent this card in? Bam, I'm here. Sorry it's taking me so long, but I've been real busy. Oh, didn't know you're coming. That's okay, Mr. Jones. I always want to come by and introduce myself first because you can't be too careful with letting your homes today. Our company has a requirement that I come out and introduce myself, make sure you know I represent this company. Boom, I'm going to go there. If I call, I'm not going to talk to you. Remember, is Mr. Spaninsky there? You just want to find out if he's home? No, you got the wrong number. He's home. Now you can go out in person. Don't need to talk to him no more. If I start getting in conversations like that in the telephone, you're going to lose because you know way to read where this guy's coming from or this gal. You've got to get in front of him and talk to him.
Well, I guess part of my problem was I didn't know where he lived. I mean, I had his address, but I didn't know where it was.
Now, who can help him out with that? Hold on, get that Jay. Okay, good point. Good point, John. Thank you. Good point.
What I would do is ask the emergency or the fire departments. There's usually a fire department or emergency personnel. They have like maps of all the current streets, the new streets and all that, or the police department.
Yeah, now they've got a brand new book called Back Roads, and you can get them at all these SAMs for every state.
So you got back roads to find them.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The whole thing.
Great, appreciate that. See, now you can tell your wife.
Or you can also call the indexing department.
Hold it, Jay, let me get that. Get that back here. Run around there. That's okay.
The property appraiser's office would also have that information.
All right, you got something back here, Pam?
I go to the post office.
Post office?
They have maps, and they're so helpful.
Grocery stores will help you in the small
Grocery
towns.
stores, neighbors.
Go back again. If you got any policyholders that live in that area, take the policyholders with you when you go out there so you can stop on by and get some help from them while pay a visit to one of your policyholders. Do all those kind of, remember, when you're going out to the area, don't go out for one call. Don't go out in a strange area for one call. There's policyholders that live in a lot of the areas that we've got around there. There's other people who have responded. You can I'll tell you, one of the best ways to get in somebody's home is be lost. The best thing you want to do is be lost. Just get out of the car and walk and say, you know, hi, I'm Don Runge. I'm telling you what, I got to tell you. I'm sorry, am I bothering you right now? Yes, you are. Well, excuse me for that, but I'm lost. I'm looking for the Kaczynski family. And this is the address I got. I don't know where in the world I'm at right over here. Oh, that's by that red farmhouse and take a road by the chicken where the dead dog is laying and go right down there about 3 miles. That's how they always give you the directions, right? And so you go, oh, thank you very much. And by the way, I need to work with a lot of concerned seniors in the area. And I'm going to be probably back in here. You're probably on my list of people to contact. But let me introduce myself formally to you while I'm here. So you can do a lot of great things, and being lost is one of the great ways to get appointments. And people will always help you if you're lost. They'll always try to help you if you're lost. All right, here's what we like to do. As we're going through this, here's what I like you to do. You've got 3 pages that you have right in front of you here for an exercise. We're going to do a role play. These 3 pages, in the right-hand corner, you'll see one says agent, one says observer, and one says prospect. There's 3 different pages there, okay? What I'd like us to do is this. We're going to go in groups of 3. We're going to take some time to do an exercise. We'll get you some more. Now we're going to go in groups of 3. What I'd like you to do is this. Use your best front door or telephone approach, whichever one you're comfortable with. Make up the one you're most comfortable with. Then I want, for example, if we role played here, Lee, let's say, is going to be the agent. He's going to make the presentation to Ron. Ron's going to fill out you'll fill out the agent's form. You'll fill out the prospect form. You would be the observer in this role play. You fill out the observer form. So once it's given, no more than 2 objections. Once it's over, you critique yourself. You critique how you thought he came across, and you critique yourself how you thought he came across. Then share the information and rotate the process. Everybody plays agent one time. Then what I'd like you to do is pick the best person out of your group. Raise your hand. Who you think the best person of the 3 you were that gave the presentation. So you go through one time each, and we want to do that, and then we're going to pick somebody to come up front. We're going to do a little role play, and then we'll wind this section up for you. So right at this point, I want you to go to your worksheets, role play right now, get in your groups of 3. We'll get papers for anybody that doesn't have them. We'll get you some sheets, and then we'll come back here in a few minutes, okay? So let's do that now. Take out your sheets, get in 3s. If you don't have a partner, raise your hand. If you don't have a sheet, raise your hand.